more people trickling in, but I want to be a good steward of your time and just want you to enjoy this day. Thank you for being so kind to us when our party has continually moved around and changed, and we are so excited to present to you all the content we have today and throughout next week as well. So I like to make everything super awkward, so go ahead and give yourselves snaps for being here and doing professional development. Yeah, you should give yourselves snaps. I'm really grateful. If you don't know me, my name is Danielle Trent. I am the staff trainer for professional development in the Learning Engagement and Development Center. We have so many professional development opportunities for you throughout the year. We have Power Day in the spring, and then we have our counterpart to Power Day, which is the summit, which is in the fall. Do we have the date for the summit? I believe it's October 11th. So yeah, mark your calendars, be ready, and if you're not there, you get a demerit. So, well, I'm super grateful for you guys to be here today. The theme of Power Day is Tomorrowland. And if you look in your bags, you will notice that you have something a little special. You have a candy bracelet. Yeah. So, when was the last time you had a candy bracelet? I'm just curious. Yeah. Way back in the day. Yeah. So, I did a little research and digging. So this actually was invented in the 1950s by the Smarties company. So they're essentially like Smarties, right? But I remember having these, and I remember being very sweaty in the summer playing outside as a child. Yeah. And candy would like leave an imprint on my wrist from like the dye just kind of like bleeding onto my skin. But I loved it, and it was so cool to have. And I would eat it really fast, and then I would have like only like 2 or 3 hanging, you know, like on my bracelet. But I wanted to remind us of that, and I wanted to use that as a way of us today for being mindful. In that when we're having that candy bracelet and when we're tasting that chalky candy, we are not thinking about anything else, right? We're in that moment. We're in that moment where we can be mindful and we can connect to what we're doing in the time. And that's really what I wanted to emphasize today about the candy bracelets, is that I hope that it can impart to you that we can be mindful and just to take a moment to be in your space, to be in this space right now, to connect with the other people here in this room, to be able to collaborate and really just get excited for what we do again. I know that we're always excited and there's things we get excited about, but I'm really cognizant of, I feel especially this semester, that like we're coming alive again. After the COVID times, the dark times, you know, it was so much survival, it was so much, you know, hustle bustle and like get it done, and we had amazing innovation that was kind of thrust upon us at the time. But the way that we move forward and all the things we've accomplished in like these past 4 years is incredible. Like our department, for example, we were like, oh yeah, we have a goal for 2020 to be about like 10% online. And like, so obviously we went fully online, but it accelerated my understanding personally, you know, just for like learning and the different modes and the different ways that we can connect with people. And like we tried really, really hard to connect, right? Because we were all virtual. And you know, people were having little like parties and games, quizzes, and those were so much fun. But like when we came back, it was awkward for a while. It was like, I don't know if I want to stand close to you. You still might have COVID. But it was like, now I'm like, I feel this like magic and this excitement and this urge and this hunger for human connection again. And so that's really what the theme of Tomorrowland Power Day is about human connection. I really want us to be able to come together and just remember and celebrate each other, because that is so important and it's so crucial to what we do. And let us celebrate our students, let us celebrate the accomplishments that we've all had with our colleagues, and let's just, you know, be a little bold and be a little brave in saying that, you know, that's what's important. In a world that is increasingly technological, human skills are something that we forget about even. And I really hate the term soft skills because it makes it sound like, oh, soft skills, who cares? But like, connecting with people is important. And if we don't have any, if we don't have the ability to connect with our students and our colleagues, like, what are we here for? We might as well just let AI run it, right? And so today that's what we're going to be talking about, those human connections. I have a really quick video I want you to watch. I'm sorry to offend your sensibilities. She does say a mild swear, but it's a graduation speech, so I figured it was pretty chill.
During the pandemic, my 3 sons and I volunteered to deliver meals on wheels to homebound elderly. And we piled into our glamorous minivan and we delivered pre-packed meals. And it got us out of the house. It got us moving. It got us out of our bubble. And it allowed us to connect to people. My youngest son looked forward to talking to Maria every week. And she told him that he reminded her of her own grandson. It was a connection, a human connection. We walked away from those sessions feeling better. As a journalist, I know that it often feels like the world is on fire, that there's chaos everywhere, wars and climate disasters, mass shootings and bitter divisions on everything from gun safety to reproductive rights. But what I would ask of you today is don't turn away. The scariest thing in the world to me is apathy. I'm asking you to care, to give a crap. I would say something else, but there's a lot of people here. I want you to give a shit. Sorry, President Bertolone. I want you to care about the world in the way that helps make it a better place. Elie Wiesel, the esteemed writer and Holocaust survivor, famously said, the opposite of love is not hate, it's indifference. Don't let your disgust with the system or with the politicians or with the media or with the power brokers stop you from engaging in the world. We need to keep lighting a candle in the darkness, or as someone just mentioned earlier, to light the fire with the wind out there.
Okay. I really appreciate that so much. Oh, I forgot I really appreciate that so much because I think, as my great friend Batman said, we need dramatic examples to shake us out of apathy. And those dramatic examples aren't always like, you know, something that's like a stage or a worldwide thing. It could be like from person to person in connection. And so when we actually care, when we make that stake and that investment in our relationships, we can really make the world brighter for ourselves and others. And that's part of what we're going to talk about today. I am super honored to invite our keynote speaker today to talk about just that. To my right here is Roy Wooten. I'm going to preface this with I'm a little biased because Roy Wooten is actually my uncle. And I'm going to be vulnerable in that, like, I held him back as a speaker for a while because I just wanted it to be the right moment and the right topic. And when I first moved here about 10 years ago, Roy never actually let me stay with them for a few months while I was looking and trying to find my way. They had tried to convince me to move to Houston forever. I was like, no. And they were like, come on. And I was like, no, I don't want to do it. But I absolutely did, and it was one of the best things that ever happened to me because their love and their investment and their time in me just really helped me to open up and see the possibilities of things that I could do personally. And so I was thoroughly empowered by them, and I will be forever grateful to you for doing that and just helping me see that, you know, I did have potential. And actually, believe it or not, I was a lot more of an introvert back then, and that's kind of gone away. But I mean, like, I realized that, like, I was in this mode that was, like, very shut off and, like, kind of survival, and that wasn't, like, my true state of being.
Right.
But, like, they really helped me with that and helped me realize that, like, I wanted to create connection for people, and then I was introduced to this beautiful job at Lone Star where I'm able to do just that. Roy Wooten is an extraordinaire that has many skills. Roy Wooten has his MS from Abilene Christian University. Yep, we have the alumni here as well. Roy has been executive director of many organizations. He is currently the executive director of the Crucible Project, which he will explain a little bit more to you, more eloquently. But he is a passionate individual that has also really just made a difference in the Houston community. He is a former executive director of Shield Bearer Counseling Centers, if y'all are familiar. And he is a counselor, he's a therapist, he is a keynote speaker. But first and foremost, he's my uncle. All right, if we could give him a hand and invite him up here today, I would love to
Thank you so much, Danielle. I've got to start by telling you how very proud her aunt and I are of Danielle. Oh my goodness. She's always been a bright spot in our lives. She's just got this genius brain and full of creativity and a heart that cares. And I love you. I love you.
love you.
So, is this me?
Yeah.
Okay. Danielle invited me to talk about Tomorrowland, relationships in an AI world, something around what is AI going to do to us and what's it going to do to our relationships. And I was feeling pretty good about my presentation, and then I met Kayla, who was invited from another campus and is an AI guru, and now I'm scared. I'm scared that I don't know enough about this, but I'll give you what I've got. I'm very excited to be here with you and honored that I got to come share. I've been traveling really heavily. We have, the Crucible Project does transformational weekend retreats. So think about, for you therapists in the room, it's kind of like an intensive. There's a series of trainings and exercises that helps move people past stuck places in their life and helps them lean into being all that they want to be. And so that's what we do. We're in 16 locations in the US and in 4 other countries. And one of the things that I do sometimes if I hop in an Uber is I'll ask them a question about something that I'm speaking about. I hopped in an Uber at a retreat I did in Nashville just last weekend as 23-year-old Ariel. Guess what she was doing besides Ubering in Nashville? Singing. She's a singer-songwriter who's like everyone I meet there. I just moved here 6 months ago. I'm a singer-songwriter. Anyway, so that was Ariel. And I said, and I was going to speak to a bunch of men in their 50s to 70s about finishing well. That was what they gave me to talk about. Finishing well. How do we do life without our job, without our title, etc.? And what should we really be focused on? And she said, I said, what should I tell these men? Like, you've been around some of these old men in your life. What should I tell them? She said, no regrets. Clean up some stuff in your life and have no regrets. And I was like, thank you. That's what I prepared. You know, she just nailed it. So I'm going to do my best here on this topic. It's interesting that we live in such changing times. It feels like the world is moving at a faster pace than ever before. And there are a lot of unknowns. In the AI world, what's it going to look like? There's some ideas around, will we have privacy anymore? Like our privacy that we have now, right? Where Google knows everything about us. Siri's listening to us right now. And I think about, man, I ought to get me a new barbecue pit, and I start getting ads, on my phone. So what will it be like? And then what will AI do if it really gets rolling, and can it take over? So will it be making decisions for our health in such a way that actually harms humans than helps humans? I think we're the only ones, humans are the only ones who are messing up the environment. And if AI machines figure this out, maybe we're the ones that need to be extinct according to it. What is going to happen in our relationships when we have surrogate relationships instead of real relationships? When we're in a relationship with a machine instead of with a human? And how is it going to impact parenting when I've got a 1-year-old grandson in San Antonio. I have pictures I want to show you. I didn't put them in the slide deck. But he already picks up a phone or any device, or now you try to read him a book and he's trying to flip pages. And his brain is just starting to really develop. What's it going to be like whenever he's my age? And what's the world going to be like? So these are all questions there's a lot of unknowns. And it can get scary in these unknowns. I remember this quote, Elbert Hubbard. The world's moving so fast these days that the man who says it can't be done is generally interrupted by someone doing it. Yeah? Isn't that the reason I put this up there is because he died in the mid-1800s. He said this in the mid-1800s. In fact, change has always been a part of the human experience, and it seems like fear kind of comes along with it. Our AI problems are in the future so much, and what we do in our mind is to create stories around the things that are unknown. And most of the stories that we create around the things that are unknown are fear-based. Yeah, do this for me, make a fist. Put your thumb inside your fist. This is a model of a brain. This is your brain stem. This part of the brain is the amygdala, hippocampus, hypothalamus. This is where it's our emotional part of our brain. And it's where our memories stick to emotions, right? And then up here is on the model, these fingers are our thinking part of our brain, the neocortex, the frontal lobes. This is where we make decisions. This is where our belief systems are. This is critical thinking takes place. And by the way, for most of you, this is a small model of your brain. But somebody in here is probably the actual size. Don't point. Okay. So anyway, what happens is we're born with this part of our brain active in a way to protect us. It's like there's a radar through our senses. That part of our brain has a radar for things that might hurt us, might cause us harm. And whenever something bad happens and we feel fearful, we fall, and we're learning to walk and we fall, that part of the brain dumps a bunch of neurotransmitters out. And it just gets you ready to protect yourself, or to run away as fast as you can, or to freeze and be still, not breathe, But when it does, all the activity in the brain is right there, and our thinking part of our brain is really offline. So we get triggered and pop, right? We're offline and we're not thinking. And so what happens when our radar experiences something really bad, a big trauma, or just a wound. It breaks our radar in that area where we tend to see it more. Does that make sense? So somebody comes back from a war experience and they've seen horrible things and they survived some horrible things, and now a smell, because it's stored in our brain through our senses, pops that open and they feel danger when there isn't any, and now they're not thinking anymore, they're just feeling, right? And every one of us has some things in our life that we get a little triggered about. And whenever we're in a relationship and one of us goes, this doesn't work, usually the other person goes too, and that's why relationships are hard, right? I tell you all that to say there's some fear about the unknown, that especially if we have some broken places, we think the absolute worst of what could be. Albert Einstein, who died in the mid-50s, said this: "It has been appallingly obvious that our technology has exceeded our humanity." This was, well, we had telephones back then, but this was before cell phones, this was before social media, this was before AI. And what I'm telling you is, this is part of being human. There's new technology, there are new things, we worry about what it's going to be like. And in our worry, we can create more mess than we actually would have with it. I thought about and grabbed somebody more current. This is Brittany Smith. She's a Cambridge University professor, and she actually works for OpenAI as well as a policy wonk. And she said it this way: the harms already being caused by AI are their own type of catastrophe. But what was true then, I mean, what is true now has been true all along. When the car went about 20 miles per hour, that was the speed at which it went, trains were going to go faster, and everyone was afraid. I mean, you could go back and read newspaper print about what might happen to our body if we get over 20 miles per hour. And all the bad health concerns of us going that fast. I'm sure every one of us went more than 20 miles per hour getting here today. Some of you around 100. I see you pass me on 290. When the telephone began getting distributed, there were all kinds of concerns about the electricity and what bad things might happen. And then there are articles about in the early 1900s how it makes men idle because they're on the phone, and it makes women they're more focused on the gossip on the phone, is what the article said. The gossip on the phone than they are supporting their family and doing family things. So this has been the same all along. The cell phone came out, that big brick. Did any of you have it? And we heard similar things. Right now, we're talking about the mess that social media does for children in relationships, right? So all the time, there's always something. And what do we do with all of that? AI is coming, right? Clara?
No.
Kara?
Oh, Kayla.
Kayla? AI is coming. It's here.
Yes.
It's being used everywhere. It's even at Lone Star College being used.
It's been in GPS. It's been here.
It's been here. So it's already here. So what do we do about it? A great article in Harvard Business Review said there are some strengths to artificial intelligence. Speed, like nothing that we've ever seen. They can do massive data analysis and computations in a split second. AI is good in that regard. Scalability. We could take something that we know works and then make it available everywhere, right? Quantitative capabilities. Not so much the qualitative, but the quantitative capability. And then AI never has to take a nap or sleep. I mean, it can go on all the time. But it is challenging when you have AI on the representative when you call for some help. And you're like, I had a discussion with an insurance company and they had an AI. And I was like, well, I need to talk to, let's see, I've had an insurance change and they kept changing. Anyway, I never got the answer that I needed out of AI. I found myself yelling at the phone, representative, representative, you know. And those of you who are too young to know the telephone that was in the wall with a cord, this was what was great about that, because you could go, slam it. We don't do that today. But there's also strengths of humans, and I think these strengths are different and cannot be replaced by artificial intelligence. Leadership and the ability to see the big picture, read the room, as it were, and know when to move from collaborative leadership into a very direct communication. Teamwork. Our ability to come alongside and get to know someone and know how we can use them to accomplish something. Creativity. So AI is pretty cool with creativity, right? You can drop some pictures or tell it to create a picture. Did you say that lady up there was built with AI? Yeah, the lady's picture on the Power Day was, the picture of me wasn't, right? Okay, so it is pretty creative, but it just gets it wrong sometimes, right? And the brilliance and magnificence of humans will never be replaced creatively, I think, in the machine world. And then our social skills, our ability to know that what different things mean in colloquialisms and various things like that. I'm going to tell on myself. I did a couple of years at a psych hospital right out of grad school, and I was on the staff, if you were asking. And while I was there, I had a guy who was new to our country. We couldn't figure out if he was here legally or not, whether he had any papers. We had some communication barriers, and the kind of Spanish that was spoken by the staff, the psych techs on my team, was a little bit different than the Spanish of this guy. So he was probably not from Mexico, where the heritage of my staff was. And we had some real challenges trying to figure out, is he safe to discharge? The psychiatrist said, I can't figure it out. You spend some time. So I spent like 3 hours with him with an interpreter. And I felt like he's okay. Whenever I first met him, he wasn't using his legs. He was just dragging himself on the floor. But now with some meds, he was walking, he was eating again, he was sleeping regularly. I thought he's safe. And so I signed the discharge papers, the psychiatrist did because I did, and the next day I learned that he had walked into a train. And it was the first time that had happened to me, and it was a horrible, horrible thing that because of my language barrier, and the language barrier of the colloquialisms and the differences of the Spanish cultures, we lost him. He fell through cracks in our system. AI can never do that. We need humans to be the ones that are able to use the critical thinking and to really relate socially, etc. Look, the biggest barrier to our humanity with new technologies has and always is fear. We get worried about what could be, and we think of the worst possible outcome. In fact, that's true with most things in our life that we get stuck at. The fear subsides. In other words, John Acuff said it this way: action eats fear for breakfast. When we start moving into the thing that we fear, the fear will subside. It goes down. And that's how we move. Look, these computers are never going to figure this out. These computers are never. Our humanity, what makes us human, is vitally important for the future of this world. And it doesn't matter how great you are or how great I am at my job, if we don't have some human connection, we're going to be in a bad way. Surgeon General reported in 2022 a study that said the number one medical issue in the United States is loneliness. It's isolation. In the measuring men's friendships, it was the lowest they had ever recorded in the decades that they've been studying loneliness. Isolation will kill you. Isolation causes, meaning isolation not physically, isolation relationally, right? It causes heart issues, neurological issues. We're more likely to be sick because we have our immune system doesn't work right. Sorry, my wife suffers from ADHD. She doesn't have it, I have it, but she suffers from it. And so that's what you're seeing right here sometimes. Okay, there was a little rabbit. Okay, so depression. Look, if isolated people die earlier than people who have relationships. So it's important for us. It's important for every human in this room. It's important for every human you're going to have contact with, your colleagues, for all of the students. It's important to have relationships and to see them. Brene Brown says it this way. Every human wants so badly to be fully seen and accepted. Every human so badly. The researcher on shame says to be fully seen and accepted. Yet we're so scared of rejection that we hide things about ourselves so that we're never really fully seen. So I want love, but I don't really want you to see all of who I am. So we miss out on the deep relationships, and we get stuck, not connecting. Every person in this room wants to be fully seen and accepted. Every introvert wants to be fully seen and accepted. But we stay in that fear place as we do it. I gave all of you a balloon. You should have had it at your desk. If you need one, there's some down here in the expensive seats. I'd ask you to blow it up. Just blow it up real quick. Blow your balloon up and tie it off. We're going to need some music in just a minute. All right. And now everybody stand. I'll trade you. Everybody stand. And we're going to see if you could keep your balloon in the air for 2 minutes. So you can't hold it, you got to bounce it. 2 minutes. You did good. You did good. Yeah. How many of you dropped? How many of you dropped it on the ground? A few of you, right? Let me ask you, if you have a green balloon, I want you to pop it. Now everybody hold up your balloon, even the green ones, hold them up. Because these balloons represent in some way all the people that we're going to have contact with, our colleagues, the students, our kids and family at home, right? And some of them look like your balloon that you have, but look around, they're all different kinds of colors and sizes, and some are more round and some are long, just like the humans that you're going to have contact with. And who's got the popped balloons? And you're going to run into some people like this. That they don't have anything left in them. Right? Or they've been through some stuff and they're just deflated. And every single balloon in here deserves not to fall through the cracks, right? And and some of you actually, you were keeping your balloon up and you saw another balloon that was about to hit the ground and you helped, right? Am I right? That happened over here? Because while that little grandson of mine is so precious, it's so important to me, like first time I saw him, he was just a blob of like pinkish, reddish stuff. And at the moment I saw him, I was so in love. I was like, if he needs a kidney, he can have mine. If he needs my heart, he can have mine. I mean, it was automatic love like that. He's precious to me, but you know what? Every human that you come in contact with, every human in this room is special, is valuable. And really, they don't fall through the cracks when we lose one, like the guy that I lost, the Spanish speaker. They fall through our hands. That you can make a huge difference as you look and see other people as whatever they're willing to show you about who they are, and you make them feel accepted. The greatest gift you can give someone is just to hear them and let them know you heard them. To hear them and let you know. Did you feel heard, Sarah? Yes. Yes. So it's the greatest gift because it's so rarely used. And you can do that with your colleagues, you can do that with these students, and not let any of them fall through the cracks. Not a single one. And then the last thing I have for you, because I think I went over time, which, ADHD, whatever, is a quote that I love so much from Marianne Williamson. Not her politics, just this. Okay. She says, and it was attributed to Nelson Mandela for decades, but she originated. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most often frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Does that describe you? Because you are. Brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous. Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God, and your playing small does not serve the world. There's nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us, and it's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. And as we are liberated from our own fear, Our presence automatically liberates others. Do the hard thing, move into whatever fear that you're stuck in. Action will reduce it. Remember that every soul you see and come in contact with is valuable and needs your connection that AI will never be able to do for us. And you are magnificent and brilliant. So go let that shine. Don't hold back. That's what I had for you. I'll be around. By the way, over at the booth, there's a QR code if you click it. And you can, we're going to give away $50 to somebody who signs up for a weekly email that comes from me. That's what I have for you.